Bhaiya, I'm starting off, huh?
Okay.
It's not.
Uh,
Hi everyone. How are you people doing? I do understand that yesterday we faced some technical glitches, but tonight we have made sure there are no ghosts or any paranormal activity that is going to happen. I mean, what kind of investigators are we if we can't control our own PCs from getting affected by paranormal entities? So, hi, this is Sarbajeet, and with me Pooja, and yeah, we are back again with the same episode that we were having yesterday, but we are beginning it fresh. So, those who missed, this is your time to get back in the line of the most awesome people who are viewing this right now. And before we start, I start off about this episode, about today's chat show. Then I'm really sorry, I'm looking down because I'm handling a lot of things while talking to you people. Tonight's paranormal chat show. So, paranormal chat show, we have been doing this for quite a long time. There was a time when we used to do this on a very regular basis, but now because of the work that we have and investigation that we do, we have two books coming up. If you have no idea yet, I don't know where in the world you live, but yes, we have two books coming up, and there's a lot that is happening right now. And there's a lot that is happening right now, as in when we are talking. That's why you can see me doing weird stuff with my hands, but just bear with me. I was just checking if we are going well and enough.
Yeah,
And
that's
yes,
what even I was.
we are doing good. We are doing pretty good, not like yesterday. So let's just say let's just start off with our own guests that we have. So tonight we have an amazing personality. We love this guy. I'm pretty sure everyone in the publishing industry or who is an author or a person who wants to be an author or a writer knows this guy and adores him. And he's an author. He's a horror writer, to be very much specific, who is published with houses like Penguin Random House, Hachette India, Anrupa Publication, just to name a few. He has multiple book to screen adaptation deals, which means his books, which are pretty much available on Amazon and any other stores around the country, are now being adapted for screen, which means you are going to see them soon on your computer screen or in the or as a theatrical release. That will be happening soon. Apart from that, he is also the founder and director of Mumbai's Inter-School Literary Festival that is called the Lit Venture. Apart from that, this guy has been, he has been in the panel of every reputed literary festival around the country. That includes Shimla International Festival, International Literature International Festival, Jammu International Literature Festival. There is Times Bangalore Literature International Festival. You name it, and that guy has been there. And he is a very, very known speaker in the TEDx events. So I think it is our honor to have him with us this time at this paranormal chat show. So please welcome Neil D. Silva. And tonight we have him to talk about all these things that we call as paranormal horror and everything that we need to know about writing a book to talking about our books. Neil bhai, welcome. Sorry for calling you bhai. That's like my instinct. I can't help to call. But yeah, welcome. And sorry for what happened yesterday, but we have you tonight.
okay. So, hello guys. Hello everyone who is tuned in and listening to us. Sarbajeet, not like yesterday, blurred
Yep.
like ghosts. And looking forward to a rocking session. Thank you for that introduction. Uh, yes. So, yes.
Yeah.
I am.
So we will begin with the same question that we had for you yesterday, Neil. And I'm sure today we'll have some new guests tuned in too. So they would love to hear uh, about your journey from a teacher to becoming a horror writer. So basically, being surrounded by children to maybe not surrounded by the ghosts. So, can you please tell us about your journey?
Or
So,
there could be children in ghost form. Sorry to interrupt you, please.
please let's keep children out of this. But children always they lend to very good horror, as we have seen in
Yeah.
some movies. Also, I got an upcoming book in which children are protagonists, and
Yes.
it's horror stories. But okay, let's keep that part out for
Yeah.
now. So yes, Pooja, right. I was a teacher. I had a coaching class of my own, and this coaching class was called as Disha Tutorials. It was one of the, I would not say, okay, let me not use any superlative adjectives, but it was doing quite well, and it was based in Mumbai. I taught there for 18 years and had a rocking time because the children were very good and I loved teaching. It was fun. But as the years went on, even though our results were good and the number of students kept on increasing year after year, I felt a kind of suffocation within that environment of teaching because I am a creative guy. I have been with my father who was subtitling movies, and I have lived with scripts, film scripts in the early years of my life. I have been with books, and my mind would always imagine that I want to create something like the worlds created by Edgar Allan Poe or Bram Stoker, or even for that matter, Enid Blyton or Agatha Christie, all my
Okay.
reading influences. So I wanted to do something like that, and it stayed suppressed in me for a very long time. The moment I hit 39 years of age, I felt that now is the time that I should not stifle this passion within me anymore. And then I had a chat with my wife. We were in Goa at that time. We were vacationing, and it was a very good time to introspect on things. So we had a chat, and I told her that I'm not very happy with the way I am right now with this teaching thing. I want to do something that will keep my name alive even after my death.
Yeah.
This is not. That's exactly
Create a
what I
legacy.
told her. She understood and she said that okay, fine. If you want to take the step, go ahead, do that. And we did it. Of course, at that stage when 2015, this was 2014 actually. It was a difficult decision for us. But then I followed my passion, and my first book came out very soon, Maya's New Husband. So that is here, my first baby.
Yeah.
This book, I released it on 3rd Jan 2015. It was a self-published book on Amazon Kindle. I had done all the work myself, including the cover and all. I hired someone, a friend, to do that. And this book amazingly did well. On the second day itself of its release, it was ranking as number 1 on Amazon India Horror.
Wow. Wow.
So within just one day, it was on Amazon Hot New Releases, and it was all over. Of course, I had built a social media platform on Facebook and all places I was talking about it, and it so happened that everybody ended up getting the book at the same time. I don't know what happened, but it ranked very well, and it stayed on that rank. It stayed within Amazon top 10 for a period of 2 years. For 2 years, and even now, again, it has come up. Again, it is ranking.
Yeah.
5 years later, people are again reading my life. I don't know. There is a second wave of things. So I think the second wave of this book is going on.
Yes.
Down the line, after this success, I was motivated to, follow my passion fully. So I shut down the classes. It was a difficult decision, but we did that. And then I continued to write. I continued to find stories and a lot of inspiration. I was inundated. In the first year, I had like 20 stories to write.
Okay.
Finally. And then, 4 books. Nine times. Had a bigger
Voice.
Your voice is not audible, Bhaiya.
Yeah, it just started cracking the voice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear now. Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know at my end. Anyway, so this book came out last year. Yakshmi did very well. This was by Rupa Publications. And another book that came out last year at the same time, which is now, this is Haunted, by the way.
Haunted,
It is
yeah.
with paranormal investigator Jay Alani. So the stories of a paranormal investigator. He went to all these haunted locations of India, Kuldhara, Bhangad, etc.
Yes.
And he took 10 of these stories, and Penguin has released this book. This book is going to, it has already got a screen adaptation.
Yeah.
In fact, let me tell you which all of my books got a screen adaptation. All these three.
Yeah, okay.
All these three. It is the new. So this has been taken up by Juggernaut Productions, which is a channel web platform. So looking forward to all these things, and now I think my literary career has really taken off. I have something to really look forward to. These are books with pairs.
Yeah.
And
Yes, we'll be shortly coming to that.
Yeah.
But one thing, I mean, I think yesterday you had mentioned that, but I would like to ask that again. Why paranormal or horror? As in, instead of some other genre, why only paranormal or horror?
See, I always get asked this question, okay, and I say, like, even I have made a Facebook post on this today, that it is not we who choose the genre.
Exactly. Yes.
So I did not. There was never a moment in my life when I sat and thought, "Arey, kaun sa story likho, romance likho ya mythology likho." That never happened to me. So when I thought that, okay, I want to write, even from my youngest days when I had ideas in my mind for stories, but I never pursued them. It was always a story which was a scary story or horror story, something like that. So it was always like that. So my mind is always tuned in that direction. So there was never a second thought. इसका कोई दूसरा जवाब है ही नहीं. There was no second thought at all.
Yeah, so another, completely resonating with that you don't choose the paranormal, the paranormal chooses you. As you know, we always say, because even we are asked that question, that why paranormal? Why not anything else? So I think, yeah, it's the same thing. We are sailing in the same boat.
Yeah.
Indeed, that's always like that. You need to, be very truthful to who you are. So
Right.
authors now, I will, of course, it is not a good thing to say, but there were some people who follow commercial trends. Like, particular thing works, so we will write these kind of stories or author. So that never works. That is not long lasting. So if you are honest to yourself, whatever you do in life, you're always going to meet with at least satisfaction, if not success.
Absolutely.
And it's all about.
So, Bhaiya, I have heard you explaining about how you came up with writing Yakshini or Maya's New Husband, and the reasons and the motivation or the inspiration behind writing those are something that needs to be. I think everyone needs to hear about it. Those who are viewing it right now, or when the video goes online for the rest of the public to watch it. I would just like you to explain your inspiration behind writing Yakshini as well as Maya's New Husband. Because both are like classic and both have a huge fan following, because I have DMs of people asking me to ask you about Maya's New Husband Part 2. So
That's nice.
They want a Part 2 now. So yeah, your inspiration behind writing those classic books.
It's been long. First of all, thank you to all those people who have DM'd about my books, because as an author, that is the biggest gratification. More than the book sale, I am more interested in who is reading my book and then liking it and wanting back. So thank you so much. So yes, Maya's New Husband was born as my first story, in that Goa place where I told you, Kalangut Beach. That was the place where that idea hatched in my mind. I was seeing these young couples walking hand in hand on the beach, Goa, romantic place. Honeymooners. And they all look like arranged marriage couples, hardly there were people. People usually have arranged marriages in India, and then they go out. And then the idea came into my head that what if, how much do they know about each other? People in India who marry. How much do you actually know your spouse, even after it's a marriage? For 5 years you stay with them, 10 years you stay with them, whatever courtship period is there. Even then, how much do you know about them? You will know what they have told. So they talk about a story where a woman is married to a person who has a very deep, dark secret. In in disguise or whatever. So that is how Maya's new husband came to me. And then the story wrote itself. I did not have to think. It just flowed out of me. Sweeney was a more dreary subject and a more drastic way that the idea came to me. So there were, all of us know about the Nirbhaya case. How terrible it was, how much the whole country was shaken by the sheer brutality of it. We are happy now that at least some kind of justice has been done.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
Recent time. But when the Nirbhaya case actually happened at that time, it shook me to the core. Like, I was, being a man, I was so incensed and troubled by the whole thing. At that time, a thought came to me. My mind is very imaginative, so it keeps working in all different directions. So a thought came to me that what if that girl who was being assaulted had something in her, a strength, a supernatural strength, which would have enabled her to fight back. If she had, because there were five guys.
Yeah, five. Including the
Five.
juvenile.
Yes. So what if she had it in her to fight back and brutally assault those men instead? Have justice right there and then.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, if that had happened, then who would that supernatural power be? Number one was my question. Number two, my question was, would this girl be then accepted in society?
Okay.
Because if you come out of such a thing, would you accept it? So my first question was answered when I did research on Yakshinis.
Okay.
So Yakshinis are both. They are wish granting as well as they are, they can take...
Powerful.
Yes, they can be powerful.
Yes.
They can get justice. They can met out justice because they are demigoddesses.
Yeah.
So then I had this idea of a girl growing up in a village who has a Yakshini inside. That's how the story was born. And the rest of the story is about the repercussions that society has. The story has been met with a fantastic response. Like, it's now in the way of screen adaptation.
I can't even imagine. I mean, it would be so great to see what you are saying. Finally, someone standing up to the odds and defying the not natural, the society ka law jo hai in India, and fighting for their own thing. Especially a woman who has a supernatural thing. That will be an amazing combination, actually.
Yeah.
But then that also brings me to my next questions. Having written Maya's New Husband and Yakshini, which are completely from your mind, and then having written Haunted, and now coming up with books with us, which are non-fiction. How do you balance both? As in, do you like fiction more, or do you like more of imagination or experience? Like, what is the blend? If you would like to give out your secret recipe to the world, what would it be?
The fiction is always my first love. I will be very honest and upfront here.
Because
I love
it's
creating my own.
easy to operate, or like with
Oh, nothing is easy. Nothing is easy.
But why fiction is your favorite?
It is fun to create that entire world. You are creating the world, you are creating
the
the
creator.
characters. So everything is, you are playing God.
No,
You are
no
playing
boundaries. I mean, you
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
actually reach anywhere and everywhere.
set your rules, you have this world. So that is how it works for me. So fiction is always my first love. And I do think that I have a lot of original stories to tell. And in times to come, if my literary agents, the book bakers, if they support me, then I will be putting out a lot of stories. So that is the kind of thing. So we have that. Now, writing non-fiction is also a challenge and also interesting at the same time. Now, why is that? When I wrote the book with Jay Alani, the Haunted, at that time, I got to know a very different perspective of horror from what I was writing. Because I was writing supernatural horror till then. I was writing about Aghoris and Pishach and Yakshini. These were my titles until then. But then when Jai came into the picture, and when I had lots of meetings with him, we met, we went to some places together, then I understood his take on the paranormal. That there is this world, or there were these people who are actually going in these haunted places and, trying to find out the truth about ghosts, spirits, etc., etc. So that was also a different thing. And then to take Jai's experiences and put them in the form of stories which people would like to read, that was a good challenge. And this is narrative non-fiction. We call it as narrative non-fiction because Haunted is not the kind of documentary fiction. Neither are our books together. We have gone forward with this style of narrative non-fiction where it plays out like a story, but it is your real experience. So again, even though I'm writing non-fiction, I am still creating a story out of it, which is
Right.
the best part. Though it is not, it's the reality.
Okay.
Telling it in an interesting way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, since we are already talking about books, I would like to ask you something. I mean, I think all the viewers would love to know from you, Neil, about our upcoming books, The Spirits Talk to Me and Ghost Whispers. Anything that you would like to tell about the book, and how are these two books going to be different than the others which are already available in the market?
Okay. So this happened again because of our agent Suhail Mathur, who was looking at, I think he stumbled upon one of your ads,
Hmm.
pay ad,
For an
and
event, yeah.
then he reached out to me and he said that, see, look, these guys look very interesting.
Mhm.
They are actually talking about ghosts and spirits and Ouija boards and things like that. So, he said that let us go for this meetup.
Yeah,
And
paranormal.
now, for the first time, we came to the meetup, and that is where Sarbajeet, Pooja, I, and Suhail, we all met.
Yeah.
On the first meeting, we did not tell Sarbajeet or Pooja anything like it's in our mind to write a book.
Right.
Listen to you how it is, and after the meeting we were so impressed by the whole thing and by your outlook on ghosts, spirits, and the in-depth knowledge that you people have and your own wealth of experience, that then and there we made that offer to you that let us write a book on
Yeah.
your experiences at pairs.
Hmm.
That is how the books started, and then we had so much content that we planned for two books.
Yeah.
So one is directly the stories of Sarbajeet, and one book is the cumulative experience that pairs has.
Hmm.
Means in that Pooja is also included, in that the other pairs members are also there, like
Shiva is
Samu.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, they are all there, I know.
Hmm.
So these are two books. The first book is The Spirits Talk to Me. This is coming out with Hachette.
Mhm.
And in this book, what we have done is taken 10 stories, the 10 of the best stories that pairs had investigated in the locations, in haunted locations, and those stories make part of the book. So
Yeah.
that is a lot of, again, narrative non-fiction, as I
Yeah.
stories were so good, Sarvajit. I'll tell this on record now that the person that narrated that story to me, the disgruntled tree especially.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I heard a story from you.
Hmm.
You sent it to me in an audio on WhatsApp. Okay, and I, as my usual practice, I shut down the room. I shut the room. I shut down the lights and put the audio on full, and I listened to the story.
Hmm.
And I was getting goosebumps in that narration itself. Being a horror writer, okay. So that is because the story, as you said, also transported me into that place. That
Good place.
people committed suicide for no reason.
He's a great narrator.
Thank you.
Undoubtedly. So then came more stories from you. There was the factory story, and there was the studio story, which
Studio
I
one.
really like out of the collection. The dubbing studio
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the
Here in Mumbai. Yeah.
those-
Yes.
So that is Spirits Talk to Me.
Hmm.
When we did this book, we were also thinking of another project where we would talk more about the phenomena.
Small. So sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt, Bhaiya, but every time someone asks what will be the second book about, I say it's like it's going to be like an encyclopedia for paranormal and the ghosts
Yes.
because of the topics we are covering. But yeah, you are the person writing it, so would like to hear it from you.
So when we went to Ghost Whispers, our second book, which is with Rupa,
Hmm.
we wanted to make it bigger, in scope and have a lot more stuff in it. So at that time, we decided that we will make it like, as you said, a kind of go-to book
Yeah.
where people who have interest in paranormal phenomena would go through the experiences and understand what stuff is. So in that book, we are not talking about individual story-based experiences, but rather we are talking about phenomena such as, residual haunting, then there is
Yes.
intelligent haunting, there is electronic voice phenomena, we are talking about sleep
EVP.
paralysis, and
Right.
so many other things. So everything has been taken into it. So if suppose like there is something in your mind, there is something like how does, for example, sleep paralysis occur,
Hmm.
or how past life regression happen, and you do not know where to go, what to ask. So this is the book that you can come. That is the book, The Ghost Whispers. And in that, what we have done, what I have done rather, is taken the experiences of Sarbajeet and Pooja both,
Yeah.
and plus of all the other pairs members also.
Hmm.
So I've taken their experiences, and along with that, I have tried to explain what these things are. So that is the kind of book, and I'm really impressed because such a book does not exist in the Indian market. We do not
Hmm.
have a paranormal guidebook.
Yeah, we
Right.
don't.
I think of Ghost Whispers more like a guidebook, which will tell people what it is all about. So both books interesting, and both books, very different from each
Different.
other. And obviously, I'm equally kicked.
We'll come to that. Actually, yeah, there is a question, but we won't be disclosing it now. There is something interesting we have planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any paranormal experience that you have faced in person, Neil, or anything that you faced while writing the book, anything that you would like to share a personal experience?
Uh, okay, okay. So see, as a writer, I get in too deep. Okay,
Hmm.
I get in too deep. Like I'm a very visual writer. So if I'm writing a scene, I actually shut my eyes and for some time I imagine that I am there.
Hmm.
So it has to be very vivid for me.
Hmm.
So sometimes when I write, what happens is that scene it shocks me so much.
Hmm.
I actually feel it happening. And this,
Sorry to interrupt. I actually cracked up by reading that post of yours where you had mentioned that I got so scared reading my own story that I had to shut it and go back to sleep.
it happened to me during Maya's New Husband. So in Maya's New Husband, there was this scene that was particularly scary. I can share that with you. So there was this scene I was writing where, Maya is finding, she stumbles upon who Bhaskar is, her
Hmm.
husband,
Hmm.
the Aghori serial killer that he is.
Hmm.
And she stumbles into this sanctuary
Hmm.
where he is practicing all his rituals.
Hmm.
And there is a moment where she has jumped into that shed and Bhaskar is on the other side of the shed. So he is in a closed room, which is where he is practicing his rituals.
Hmm.
And Maya is just walking about, she doesn't know what is happening. And as she is walking on that corridor, there were all these body parts strewn about.
Oh.
Okay, so a lot of negative energy in that entire area because that is a place where he has done his killings.
Hmm.
The moment I was writing, it was such a shocking moment for me. Like now she's going to open the door. Now she's going to see Bhaskar in that form. Scene I could not write in one stroke. I was so scared. I went and slept. So that is it. In the morning I continued. Okay, but let's talk about ghosts.
Yeah, your personal, anything personal.
And I was writing your story, Sarbajeet, seriously. Yours is when I was writing, I was also again, I have to teleport myself to
Yeah.
that place where we talk about. Otherwise, I cannot write it. So I have to teleport myself. So I did that, all that, all that. Then I went to sleep, okay? And this was again in the middle of the night, and I was not scared by the story itself. But in the middle of the night, I'm getting these nightmares that all these things are around me in the room, people are there, and all the ghosts that I saw, read about, wrote about are there. And I get this very vivid dream, very vivid. I mean, crystal clear. Like I can hear myself, see the colors, everything. And I can actually say, I will not talk about what the story is because then it will be a giveaway. So that is what I saw. And, later on, I do not know whether that experience was just in my mind
It was for
or
real. Yes. We are back again. I'll just get it checked and then we are good to go. I think we are back.
yeah.
Did you check?
I can see the yes. My screen is not active yet, but
You see?
Yeah.
We are live? Yes, we are live again. Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
please continue
Welcome.
where we had left. Yes, we are back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we can continue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now it's good. All good.
So I was talking about how the stories were, your stories impacted
Yes.
me, and I had these vivid dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the extent of it, and I don't know whether that was a real thing or a figment of my imagination, because overactive imagination and all. So that's it. Other than that, paranormal experiences, as in really meeting a ghost or something like that, I would not say that has happened. But sometimes you just feel these things. But that is like how other people would also feel. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
But we have this thing in the paranormal world. So we say that okay, the more you acknowledge the spiritual world, the more the entities from the spiritual world come in contact with you. The reason being, it's like out of billions of people, there's a handful of people who are studying about them, who are talking about them. So it's like, and anyway, they need attention, so they come more to us. So now I would like to raise the question. Now, do you really think it was just a dream, or were you really?
Because the way why am I telling this to you also? If it was an imagination, then I would have just abandoned that idea there itself.
Yeah.
But because things which happen to me, I mean my vivid dreams, because they are so real, I cannot really think like what it is. So definitely it must be something more than what we think.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So
You know better because you are in this world.
yeah, true that. But there's this question which I remember Savio Bhaiya asking you during the ScareCon, and just to all our viewers, these questions have been curated and prepared by three people. Two of them you are seeing right now, and there is one more person, Savio Furtado, who is also a senior member of Pairs. He also helped in having these questions done, and he asked you this question. I remember at one of the panels that we had at ScareCon, that with a majority of your books getting adapted for screen now, Yakshini, Maya's new husband, and there is Haunted, and many more to come. I'm pretty sure there would be producers and filmmakers who would be coming to you asking that what if we change this character and maybe have something of our own, though we will put that inspired from this particular books, but we'll have our own storyline, we'll have our own character, whatever tweaking they want to do. But as an author who reserves the complete rights for writing that complete story, बाकी सब बाद में रख के about the agreement and all, where do you draw the line कि नहीं मुझे ये नहीं चाहिए, no matter how much money you are paying me?
Basically, I am quite flexible. I am not a very rigid author when it comes to screen adaptations.
Okay.
Because I understand that when a book goes to screen, then it cannot follow the same kind of grammar, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Novels are written in a different way. Novels are written for a different audience also, and screen is different. So they have to be, the medium changes.
Yeah.
Therefore, the story also has to be told in a different.
Yeah.
And I have been with enough producers and enough creative people and brainstormed in enough studios to understand that yes, the book is going to be changed. And if the author is going to be very rigid about it, then that author does not understand that medium. It is that issue. I understand that, and therefore I keep away. There were many places where I will not like changes, and I raise my voice there.
Okay.
So I raise my voice if you are changing one of the characters of the book. I mean, character, if you are adding or subtracting characters, fine. Of course, the inputs will always go through me. But if you are changing the entire tone of a character, means if you are making villain into a romantic interest, for example, then ये बात हजम नहीं होती. So that thing that you don't like. So the tone of the characters who have been built with a certain set in my mind, that should not change. Because see, it is very simple. In fact, when the producers come to me, they say that you are the person who understands horror because you are the one who is creating it. So I'm taking this story from you. So if I am understanding horror, then that is my vision that has gone into creating that character.
Entire thing.
So Yes, so that time we start debating, and if they are able to convince me that the character needs to change, maybe we might, but
Okay.
it will always be discussion at that point.
Okay.
So that is one uh, essence, important point. The second is the story का essence, जो सार बोलते हैं ना कहानी का, should not change.
Okay.
Now, like Yakini is a story which has also a social message, right? So if you are going to convert it into something which is not having that message, or
Got it.
something that diluted and becomes just a fantasy fiction, doing a grave injustice to the book in which you have also invested.
Yeah.
Correct? So some place where I would like to discuss and say that this is not the commitment. So these are the basic two places where I will have an kind of talk with the producers to explain to them that this should not be done. But otherwise, if they are adding new scenes, if they are changing the screenplay and all, that is all very fine. And in fact, I welcome that
Okay.
because I people to give that tadka to my
Okay.
story so that it goes on screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anything, Neil, that you would like to throw a little light on your ongoing projects?
If you are allowed
Yes,
to.
if you are allowed to speak about
I authors love to talk about it. So of course we have Ghost Whispers and Spirits Talk to Me. Both are at the editing stage now. And apart from that, my personal projects, I have a book coming out very shortly. In fact, I'm planning to release it on Friday itself. Is Ringa Ringa Roses.
Yeah.
It's based on fantasy horror tales with children as protagonists. The one that I was talking about
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we started. Yes, so that again that is very interesting to me, and I will talk about that later when the book is releasing. Is because our fairy tales and our nursery rhymes, they all have a little bit of negativity associated with them. Like Ringa Ringa Roses itself, the rhyme came from the time of plague,
Yeah.
the bubonic plague that when it started. So these things. So all these things, our children are so openly singing, and the fairy tales with witches and evil stepmothers and ogres and stuff like that. So they are so easy. So this is all horror. So I've just upped the horror portion of
Yeah.
these.
Yeah.
Very modern tales. So this is one project. Anyway, I just named the projects. I'm doing a book shortly, which will be also being. It will come out in an episodic format on
Okay.
Wattpad.
Okay.
This book is called What the Eyes Don't See. Now, this is my first announcement
Okay.
of the title and the book.
Okay.
So
this
this
is
book-
exclusive.
It's very exclusive on this chat. So, What the Eyes Don't See is an exclusive Wattpad book. I'm doing it in collaboration with the Wattpad people.
Great.
And this book
Okay.
will be out at the end of this month in
Okay.
chapter form. So, it is an episodic book.
Okay.
There is a show
Congratulations
that I
for
have
that.
signed up. There is a show that I have signed up. It's an anthology show.
Mhm.
It has horror stories from different parts of India. I have written the stories for them.
Mhm.
The show is now in pre-development,
Yeah.
but the pre-production. But the problem is that now, since we are in lockdown, so things have slowed down.
Slowed
But
down.
this show will also be going on a major OTT. We have
Yeah.
not yet made the formal announcement of it, so more details on that
Yeah,
are
happening
awaiting.
soon.
Okay, okay.
So there is
But-
lot more of Neil D. Silva people are going to see rather than just on the books. He'll be coming in front of a screen as well. May not be as you are seeing him right now, but at least his name will be there because he deserves it and he deserves more of what he has done and is doing. But
we need the name to be there.
sorry.
We need the name to be there. That is the first thing, right?
Yeah. But because you're an author, and for the people who might be interested in being an author, especially writing horror or something, I have few questions that might inspire them or might help them understand writing books or getting into this field. So recently, as you know, that the publishers are looking for more of non-fiction stories or books based on non-fiction incidences to say. So, what is your take? As in, like you said, fiction is still your favorite because it's easier to create, it's easier to destroy, it's easier to add whatever you want to do.
No, it's easier. I did not say it.
No,
Is
no, as
easier.
in, because you have the control of it. It's
Yeah.
like you are under the control. Like you said, it feels like God doing everything. What?
Feel like
Yeah.
God. Yes.
Yeah. So my point is, now for a kid, for example, or for a teenager who wants to write book but has no. अब क्योंकि क्या है कि if someone is a budding writer, many people may not be interested in giving out their stories for her or him to write it down because they know they are just coming up with something, and the only option they have is writing fiction. So, what is your take on this particular thing where non-fiction is selling more as compared to fiction, and what should inspire them in continuing ahead with their writing passion?
So when I said that non-fiction is selling more than fiction, this I'm saying through experience.
Yeah.
Like this is what is the actual market trend among the publishers right now. There are more non-fiction books coming out than fiction. Fiction is there; it is coming out. It can never die out. But currently, the phase of fiction has little bit, ebbed. It has gone down. However, having said that, I will also say that fiction will never die because fiction is the most important part of literature. Literature is about creation, and you can create with fiction. You cannot create with non-fiction. Non-fiction is just telling something that has happened. So non-fiction is narration, whereas the real literature lies in fiction. So fiction will never die down. There will be a time, maybe 3 months later, 6 months later, when fiction will again come, and all these big publishing houses, which are now saying no to fiction, they are actually doing it. Will again come back to fiction because that is where they also grew up from. And the Indian readers, we love stories. We all love stories. We love to hear stories. We are like a very story based people. We grow up with Dada Dadi ki kahani. Right from those days, we enjoy stories. Indians love stories, and that is why fiction will never die out. So all the young writers who have all these amazing story plots in your mind, keep them in your mind and use them because it will happen. Maybe the medium will change. Maybe it is possible that print books may not come out, but there are all these OTT platforms that need stories now. So the stories will always find a place somewhere or the other.
Yeah.
In my case, a lot of my stories are now directly ending up on screen. So, because everything cannot be translated into a book, right?
Yeah.
A lot of stories are directly going to screen also. So, that is also an avenue that can work. Having said that, fiction books will never die out. They will come back.
Okay.
So we have a few questions from our viewers also, and those who are viewing us, if you have any more questions, you can please ask. But before that, we have a rapid fire round for you, Neil. So
we don't have anything as of now, but once the lockdown is done, we have a gift for you. So yeah.
Wonderful.
So I have So there are a few questions So you're ready?
Okay.
Okay.
I will be ready.
Your favorite book?
Anything from Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
That tell my telltale heart. Chalo. Edgar.
Okay, and the next one was your favorite horror movie?
The Sixth Sense.
Oh, nice.
Awesome, that's one of mine too.
See, I don't know. When you ask rapid fire, to सोचने का time नहीं मिलता है. So I just say the first.
So वो जो honestly जो है वो आता है.
If you can think of that thing at the spur of the moment, that means it is your favorite.
Yes.
That's why
Yes, exactly. Your favorite horror paranormal series?
Supernatural maybe.
Nice.
That's
Perfect.
We have a commoner.
Okay. One haunted location in India where you would like to spend a night?
Oh. Kuldara.
Awesome. So maybe you
Okay.
can join us.
You should be joining us. We are
investigation.
going somewhere in the next couple of months. I'll
My
let you know.
wife won't allow me. My wife actually is not allowing me. Kuldara नहीं जाने.
Okay. One haunted location abroad that you would like to spend a night?
There are many in London.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the places.
Okay. So
West-
any one location?
Westminster Abbey. It's a graveyard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Famous personalities are. I've heard that it is haunted, and there is also this thing that I will be able to see the graves of all these famous personalities. if
Okay.
nothing else.
Okay.
Would you like to join pairs for a paranormal investigation?
Oh yes, undoubtedly. In fact, you should take me. I'm the author of your book.
Yeah. So Kuldara maybe next
But
one.
you have to convince my wife.
Okay, now I love this one. Ghost whispers or spirits talk to me?
Arey, both. Both.
Okay. Netflix or Prime
Video.
Video?
Prime, because it gives me all that trivia. IMDb wala.
Yeah.
The facts and all. And I enjoy watching that.
Oh.
Otherwise, quality-wise, Netflix.
Okay.
Okay. One Bollywood actor who could reprise the role of Ed Warren from Conjuring series.
Oh. Irfan.
Irfan Khan.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. He would make a very good Ed Warren. And he has that look in his eyes.
Yeah, that
which-
intense this thing. Yeah.
intensity.
Yeah.
So though he does not look like Ed Warren in any way, but that name.
Yeah,
came
the
to mind.
personality and yeah.
Would
Okay.
definitely-
Okay. And one Bollywood female lead that could reprise Lauren Warren for the Conjuring series.
कोई नहीं है. Okay, maybe Vidya Balan, because I am always partial to her.
Okay.
Vishal sir, if you are watching this, you know.
I don't know. I just said Vidya Balan because I think she fits in every role.
Okay.
She's an awesome actor, right?
But then
Like a
this
queen,
is-
she put her in whichever role and she will do justice to.
She
Yeah.
does justice, right?
But I think, Bhaiya, you should read whenever you have some time about the Winchester's Mystery House. This is in USA. So this entire house and supernatural characters were named after that particular house.
Yes.
The entire house was designed to have spirit move around the house and use it like a house, like a home for them. So it was
Nice.
designed
Yeah.
astronomically, keeping the planets in mind, and for spiritual portal. It's an amazing place that I think you should be visiting. Now we have some questions from our viewers. The first question, of course, comes from Vishal sir.
Let's have an international trip, so that time we will go to these places.
Yeah.
So let's just do one thing. Let's just start manifesting for everyone who is viewing this, who is going to view this, for you and for everyone. Let's just manifest that when Spirits Talk to Me or the Ghost Whispers comes out, we make it
Yeah,
big
that-
enough for a book tour, maybe international book tour.
That was what I was telling you. After Ghost Whispers and Spirits Talk to Me, we should move
Yeah.
away on international too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll take questions.
Yeah. So the first question comes from Vishal sir. He's asking, how much do you fictionalize the real events from the original, and how close is the final narrative to the original?
You mean when I am writing non-fiction books like
Yes,
Haunted and
yes, yes.
Ghost Whispers and all?
Yes.
So at that time, I do not fictionalize it. So I do not deviate from what the stories these people have told me. But I definitely add a little bit of drama to it, because then it has to sound like a story. It has to sound like a narrative. So, a story. So that is what. So in what might have happened in 1 minute, I may stretch it to 10 minutes and put a little bit of angles
Yeah.
to it,
Mhm.
layers to show that okay, it happened this way. But none of the incidents and episodes, the pivotal points, will never change. So even when Sarbajeet tells me the story, it's the same case. Sarbajeet stories are exactly like that is, and after the stories are written, we have 3-4 rounds of back and forth.
Yeah.
So unless and until they are also convinced that what I have written is correct and authentic, we do not send it to our publishers.
Yeah.
We
Then
approve.
yeah. And then we have a question from Miss D'Souza. How would you guys describe walking into a house, but you have this feeling of being watched constantly? You know you are completely alone, but you're not alone. Makes sense. Okay, so this question is for us.
It's quite good. Yeah.
And yeah, we do understand what you're trying to say, and it does happen. It's like our inner sensors are indicating something, that something is out here, but that can also happen because of thousands of reasons that could include many natural reasons like high EMF or geomagnetic lines or a leakage of some certain gases or a lot of things.
Especially carbon monoxide.
Carbon
it can make
monoxide.
a person hallucinate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's...
And Vishal sir is saying instead of Vidya Balan, he thinks Tabu will make better Lauren Warren.
Yeah. Maybe. Tabu.
Yeah.
And Tabu and Irfan make a great pair also.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So, Bhaiya, I think this is what we have right now. First, then again, thank you so
There were
much.
questions yesterday. You
Yeah,
had that. If you still have that video, because yesterday a lot of people had already started posting questions.
yeah.
Right, right.
Actually, I think
But
No,
YouTube discarded
yesterday's,
it. Yeah.
we deleted that one. But I remember reading one of the questions from Dr. Rahul, and he had the same question which I already asked, a personal paranormal experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 That is what
So,
he
Okay.
had. But there is one thing, again to the writers especially, that one message you would like to give to all the budding writers who want to go into horror or just any other trending topics like you just mentioned about.
It is not worth keeping the story in your mind. You have to get your ass down on that chair and start writing it.
You heard the
And
man. Okay, Bhaiya, so
So that,
now the screen is yours, the platform is yours. If you want to plug in your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook page, your upcoming projects, books, anything, you have the screen. Please feel free to do that.
I have already spoken about all my upcoming projects,
Mhm.
and I really love you people to grab a copy of Ringa Ringa Roses when it comes, because this is a book that I did not. I had the stories in mind from a long time, but I did not get the time to write it. And when the lockdown happened, I thought I would make the best use of this time. And in the lockdown, within the first 3 weeks of the lockdown, today we actually finished the 21 days.
Uh,
Have finished the stories, and the stories are awesome because there is no distraction, so they are completely
hmm.
very oddly written. So I would like you to grab a copy of Ringa Ringa Roses, the cover of which has been designed by Sarbajeet.
It was amazing actually. And as he had asked me not to call him Neil Bhai, so Neil D. Silva's books, Maya's New Husband, Yakshini, Haunted, are all available on Amazon. He's also on Wattpad writing amazing stories. He's coming up with more, like you just heard him. Feel free to go check it out. He is on Twitter. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
please.
Maya's New Husband, let me remind you, the book is now, Amazon has offered a big discount on it. So the ebook is available at only 29 rupees.
Yeah.
So, and again, started ranking, and a lot of people are reading it. So this is a good time to get a copy of the book.
Yes. So you should, and you should also wait for our books which are coming up, The Spirits Talk to Me and The Ghost Whispers. Let me, I think you should hear us from the investigators. This book, when you read this, it is going to give you crawls. I'm pretty sure you can't sleep at night. दिन में तो chance ही नहीं है, रात को भी आप नहीं सो सकते हो. And the way this man has written, Neil Bhai has written, it's like literally he is going to carry you from your house and put it into that location where
he's
we
like
investigated.
done a complete justice to
What
our
we actually
investigations.
felt actually.
Absolute justice.
Because whenever this co-authoring happens, there is always some kind of the co-authors sometimes feel like, okay, my stories they have not been done justice to. But so I'm very happy that you are happy with the work that I've
They
done.
have been amazing, and I think I was talking about it yesterday. I'd love to do it today and every time we are on some platform, that we connect to you at a very different level, and I think that is why we don't need to even complete our stories before you do the same for us. So it's like just for our viewers who are watching. I remember there were a lot of stories where I have not mentioned some minor details. For example, कौन से गाड़ी में हम लोग गए थे to investigate. So Neil Bhai writes the story and he sends it to me for the review. I'm going through the stories and I'm like, I didn't share which gadi we were in. How did he know the color of the gadi and what sort of company it was and what was the entire thing? He had it all done.
Or it was automatic. I just so many times I remember asking that, how did you know this? We never shared. How did you know this?
And the time when I found out that body parts were actually buried
Exactly.
in the
Yeah.
in the ground, because they had not told me that. They had just told me that the people were killed. But
Right.
I actually could see that the body parts were buried and put in the ground.
And
So these
and
cannot
this, and this is where we lost our AdSense because we are talking about dead bodies. Sorry, FBI, CIA, CBI, who is watching. We are not responsible for what happened. We are talking about our books. But yeah, these things are out there. They are mentioned in the books and they'll be amazing. Again, thank you so much, Neil Bhai, for
Thank
getting some time for us and our serious sorries for the inconvenience that was caused to you. and to the viewers who are watching, we are sorry. It happens, and yeah, shit happens. अभी तो इतना कुछ हो रहा है, अब इंटरनेट गया तो आ भी गए हम लोग वापस, चलता है अभी.
Everyone is used to shit happening now.
Exactly.
So the lockdown, there'll be many horror stories. Now I'll write a book on lockdown horror.
Yeah, right.
that
That's
would
a
be
great, because actually a lot of cases are coming up during the lockdown.
And second thing, you can't move out because virus है, and you can't leave in क्योंकि घर के अंदर कुछ और है.
No, because I have heard such a lot of people sharing experiences कि अभी ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है, vivid dreams और सब आ रहे हैं बहुत सारे लोग.
Exactly.
And actually, we are getting calls. We are getting this thing. There is a lot of. I think we'll speak over that after the chat. That there is a lot of things happening. Yeah.
Things to be worked on there also.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Had a fun
thank you
time.
so much, Neil. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Have a great night, and please continue the great work you have been doing. We'll catch up soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right, people. So अभी क्या है? The chat shows will be coming up. अभी क्योंकि कुछ करने को तो है नहीं, ना तो आपको कुछ करना है, ना तो हमें कुछ करना है. So what we are going to do is we'll try to get in more guests, more amazing people. We'll be planning it again in a more better way, and because see, this is a completely new interference and a completely new situation considering what is happening outside. So this is also some way or the other affecting the internet connections and all of things, if you are aware of these facts. But talking about that, we will not hesitate to bring in more guests and more people. Sometimes there may not be any guests, it will be just two of us talking about something that we would like. We do have certain topics like that, and we'll be coming with those soon. So maybe Paranormal Chat Show will be back next week, maybe with an amazing guest, and we will continue doing that. Thank you so much for those who stayed with us, asked questions. Thank you so much, Vishal sir, for tuning in. Thank you so much, Shiva, for the support, and everyone else who loved the chat. If you if you liked it, if you loved it, please do like it. Please do share among your friends and families, and please do subscribe to our channel. That is important for us. And yeah, it was nice.
And we'll see you soon.
Soon. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night. Wait, don't move. अब तक खत्म नहीं हुआ.